Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Fist and Jawa Save the Universe. I am Fist-25, and we're here today to do a double feature on a couple of Vanduul ships that are sort of an Esperia recreation. And the first ship in that line is going to be the Vanduul Scythe, the medium fighter that most Imperators, well, all Imperators actually get as kind of a free rental. The other ship we're going to look at is the Esperia Glaive, a recreation of the elite Vanduul medium fighter. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into it. All right, with that out of the way, let's take a tour of the Scythe and fly it around, see how it feels, let you guys get a good look at it. Here we go. The Vanduul Scythe is a medium fighter that has made an appearance in every Vanduul raid. The purpose of the ship is as a dedicated dogfighter. There are no luxuries of comfort or cargo, but rather the Vanduul focused on manufacturing a ship that was made to kill. A step up from its smaller, lighter fighter cousin, the Blade. The Scythe has a stronger hull, twice the hydrogen fuel capacity, and twice the firepower, with its mix of 2 weak laser cannons, 1 war laser cannon, and 1 wrath plasma cannon. It carries the same missile loadout as the Blade, but has a unique dimension to the ship, and that is of the ramming blade. Obviously designed to mimic the farming implement, I can only assume the ship is made to ram and cut other ships in half with its sickle-like appendage. The Scythe was first revealed in the old Squadron 42 cinematic trailer nearly 10 years ago, when it went by its old name, the Raider. It was redesigned in 2014 and again in 2019 when the Kingship was reworked. It is presumably one of the most common ships used by the Vanduul, and even holds a place in the lore of Cal Mason as depicted in Cassandra's Tears, Issue 2. Of course, the UAE Navy enlisted Esperia to reproduce the medium fighter for training use and assigned units to the 323rd Aggressor Squadron. In lore, very few Scythes have made their way into the hands of civilian pilots, but one sure way to get the ship is to be an Imperator-level subscriber to Star Citizen. And in addition to the other slew of benefits you get for the $20 a month subscription, you also get the ability to call out and use the Scythe from the ASOP terminal. The recreation from Esperia differs from the Blade quite significantly. Being a slightly bigger ship, it is of course less maneuverable than the Blade in all of the pitch, yaw, and roll statistics. It is slightly faster in the Blade in acceleration, but greatly lags behind it in lateral and retro thruster power in patch 3.17.2. In weaponry, the Scythe outguns the Blade almost 2-to-1, ditching the Warlord and Wasp weapons for size 5, yes, size 5, War Neutron Cannon and the Wrath Plasma Cannon. Those 2 weapons do massive amounts of damage when they hit, but they have a very slow fire rate and a slow projectile speed. These 2 bespoke weapons are enhanced by 2 more bespoke weapons, the size 1 laser repeaters called Weak, and they sport a much higher fire rate and projectile speed to balance out the Scythe's devastating 1-2 punch. To feed these bigger weapons, Esperia equipped the Scythe with a bigger power plant and military-grade coolers. Lastly, the stock quantum drive is military class, so it has incredible speed, but it lacks any sort of real long-distance efficiency, as the Scythe quantum fuel tank is the standard of any other small-sized ship. I would expect in Squadron 42, when battling the Vanduul, we will experience the blade to start off with, then move up to harder enemies flying the Scythe, and saving the Glaive for the elite Vanduul or the Vanduul Ace pilots using that ship. Well, hey folks, so here we are, and it's time to take a look at the mighty Scythe. Let's see what it looks like here at Grim Hex. And here it is, the Scythe. It actually looks pretty darn menacing. We're going to take a slow walk around it as we see all these boxes, and there's a gurney behind me. People are kind of messy here at Grim Hex. But we're going to take a fairly short walk around this ship, and notice it is very distinct looking. It has this weird gun over here, and this, I believe, is the war cannon. It is the actual size 5 laser cannon, and over here is the Wrath. Whereas the Glaive has 2 of these, the Scythe has 1. This is a Vanduul medium fighter. Very similar to the Blade. It has these 2 size 1 fixed guns up front. It's got the red canopy. We're going to enter the ship from below. And it just has a really neat look to it. Now, I know that Esperia did make copies of the Scythe. However, the subscriber ship that we get when we go to the ASUP terminal, it does say Vanduul Scythe. So it does make me wonder if this is truly the Vanduul ship. Even though it has human controls, it must be Esperia. It's just a little bit confusing. But there's a little too much shadow here. Let's get the ship. Let's take it for a ride. Let's take it outside of Grim Hex and see what we can do. So first things first, we need to go ahead and enter the canopy, or the cockpit, from the bottom of the ship here. There we go. Enter the pilot seat, and just like the Blade and the Glaive, it's going to put us looking down, which technically is fine, but if you hit F, it'll kind of bring you up to where you can actually look at the HUD, and that's kind of important. So we're going to hit R. Turn everything on. All right, we're going to get out of here before we take a look at the other stuff. So let's open up the hangar bay. There we go, the reliable asteroids of Grim Hex. We're going to go ahead and make our way out and basically head towards Crusader. Look at how beautiful this ship looks. Just looks phenomenal. Okay, first things first, while we have a little bit of sun on us, we're going to raise this landing gear up, and you're going to watch the Scythe expand. So gear goes up, and then the main guns drop down, the war cannon on the port side and the Wrath cannon on the starboard side. Looking good. We can see those are the 2 size 1s up front, and then the powerful size 5s over there. Okay. Let's go back into the cockpit here. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit of the Scythe here, and just want to give you a quick look around. We do, just like the Blade, we have 4 multifunction displays. Over here we have a 3D radar. The standard HUD with the red here, it is, as you see, if we go up and down the speed limiter, you can't tell the difference when you're in SEM, which you're not. So you're just going to have to assign that to some kind of a button. Also over here on the VTOL and the gear, you can see our gear is up and it's a little bit darker red, but our VTOL is on. If I turn the VTOL off, it goes dark red. That's the only real way you're going to know about the coupled, decoupled, ESP, things like that. Other than that, standard compass. We do have a little bit of a sunroof up here. Looks pretty good. We have visibility on the bottom, in the center, right and left with these struts. We could see that very menacing size 5 out of the right side there. As far as buttons go, looks like we have on the left side engine on, engine off. Power on, power off. There's not a whole lot, I can tell you that. Exit is down there on the bottom. And I think that's really about it. I don't see a press to unlock or anything like that. So definitely no gold standard passes here on the good old Vanduul Scythe. With that being said, let's go ahead and we will take it out into SCM speed as we're flying around. We'll get the flight characteristics of this ship. And it looks like we're at about 194 meters a second, which is pretty fast. I would say that's yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and past that, let's go ahead and crank the speed all the way up. Here we go. Let's see how fast we can get up there. All right, cranking all the way up. It looks like we're at about 1230 as our maximum speed as we just kind of clear the asteroid area over here at Grim Hex. Now, let's take a look at what the ship looks like on the outside. And here we can see that our big side, see the retro thrusters on the front firing, or at least the one. About right here. That looks like a retro thruster to slow us down. This one as well. Yep, they were both retro thrusters. They do look different. It's like a hodgepodge of ships all together. And okay, so let's check out what the Scythe really looks like here. It's kind of an intimidating ship. It looks very menacing. Looks very deadly. It's got this crazy red that is kind of beautiful, to be honest. The glow of the red engines here, the glow on the wings, it looks really nice. And speaking of the red glow, we hit L to turn on our lights. They actually are red lights, so that's something to think about. Now this wing here, the Scythe wing. It does say in Urkel, when I was doing some research on this, that this is a wing that is meant to cut into other ships. So I don't know if we're going to get a chance to test that, but it's something that's made to basically cut other ships in half. So maybe the Vanduul / Esperia's recreation actually has that ability. I'm not quite sure. So with that, let's give it just a little bit more out of the sun there. Let's give it a little bit of boost. We'll see what those engines look like. And there's Afterburner right there. Wow, what a really cool looking ship. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and I guess get into a dogfight, and we'll go from there, see what happens. Solo dogfight in the Vanduul Scythe. We're not going to do anything else in the Scythe because really that's all it's meant to do. It's a fighter. It's a medium fighter. And it's meant to take out other fighters. So let's do that. But before we take out any fighters, I want to fly this thing around atmosphere in the moon and kind of show you guys what the ship feels like flying around. I didn't have a lot of luck when I was on Microtech trying to film this earlier. That could have been the server, but this ship did not fly around atmosphere very well at all. So let's try it out, and then we'll get into the dogfight. All right, so here we are flying around Yella here. Let's see how she does. Well, you can't hear a whole lot as far as the engines go. We're flying at SCM speed here on the moon, and it's 194, 193 as we're flying around. It's definitely not as nimble as something like the Blade, like a light fighter. It does remind me a little bit of the Hornet as far as its maneuverability. But I mean, it right now it's flying very smooth, very stable. I'll try to take we'll go around this this mountain a little bit here with a right turn. Okay, it seems to catch up fairly quick as we keep pulling around this little mountain area here. Pulling a 180, okay. So that was really nice. Let's kick some speed in here. See how she flies. For real. It's definitely moving a lot quicker. I can tell you that much for nothing. It is fairly maneuverable. I'll give it that. It feels good to fly, and maybe my earlier troubles at Microtech were because of the weather. I'm not sure. Let's pull a oh, see, there we go. See, I was having issues before, and I'm having issues now. Mayday, mayday. So this ship does not like to go fast and then turn, and I think that's probably just a problem with the flight model on this ship. It turns out it's not Microtech, although I'm sure the weather didn't help. But let's slow down a little bit because it was going really fast out here. And let's kind of go at about 520. And we'll see how she does with a hard turn. Add a little bit of boost in there to make our full way around. Well, it's enough to get us to almost a blackout, but not too shabby at all. Let's pull a loop here as we see Crusader. We're blacking out, and pulled that off. Okay, heading back in like we're kind of gonna engage. I'm not sure what kind of dogfighting mission we're gonna get. It might be an atmosphere. It might not. I kind of hope it's not, to be completely honest with you. I think I'd much rather fly this ship in space. And we'll see how the Glaive handles when we get to that section of the video. And we'll kind of try to pull a right turn around this mountain. And it just wants to even out. So maybe it's the way it's designed with its Scythe-like ways. I'm not sure. But I can tell you it's pretty easy to black out on this ship as you're flying along. So be careful with that. In addition, it really likes to turn to the left pretty well. Turning to the left is actually a pretty easy turn. You're able to hold it throughout the turn. But turning right and then pulling the right-hand turn around tends to flatten out your turn a little bit. It doesn't really like to turn to the right, at least from my experience, especially giving it boost. Of course, now it's just fine. Maybe it was the wind, I'm not sure, but turning left was a lot better. So with that, let's head out into space, and we'll get our dogfight on, and I'll see you up there. Okay, folks, our target is dead ahead. It is, of course, in the atmosphere, so let's go get them. All right, this ship does have arrow missiles, size 1s. We're going to go ahead and fire 2 at them. Remember, it does not have gimbals. So I fired my countermeasures. Woohoo! Oh, it does not like atmosphere at all. I have bumped up my guns a little bit. This guy's talking to me. It looks like it's a cutty. Oh, and there I go. Awesome. So that was a really fast death. I think maybe I got hit by the missiles, or maybe there's a shield hole in the ship. I'm not sure, but I can't remember dying that fast in atmosphere in a long, long time. Maybe he ran into me. I'm just not quite sure. But I'm going to get back at it, and I'll see either try to finish up this mission or at the next one. So just stand by. All right, round 2. Let's go. Oh, look at the cutty flying around all crazy. I don't even have a target on him. Oh, there we go. Now let's see if we can take him down. Oh, there he goes. Stuck on that. Oh, I got another guy shooting at me, though. The missiles I used, I think, helped. Okay, where are you at, buddy? There you are. Whoa. This thing flies horribly in atmosphere. I do not like it. Just not a fan. Is this an M50? I hate M50s because they joust a lot. Oh, God, in the desync. Who was I going to collide with, game? He was really far away from me. Right there, I could have collided with him, I'm sure. Oh, cut off his speech. This thing turns so badly in atmosphere, it's really hard to get a any type of bead on him. You know, I guess that's the advantage of the M50, though. But then again, come on, joust past me. Oh, now you don't want to joust past me. Okay, I see how it is. Come on, get the missile lock. Shoot him. He'll probably dodge all of them. I don't really have a target on him. So we'll switch over to this guy. Okay, we're out of missiles. Maybe that's why I didn't have one on him. Who is this guy? Oh, Gladius. Okay. Kind of its competitor, kind of not. Oh, I think a Hornet is more of its competitor. It doesn't have great stock shields or anything, but it does have really heavy weapons. I'll give it that. So where's my contact? I didn't even hit my quantum drive, but I had all the quantum markers. Maybe the missiles took out the other guy. Looks like they did. And there is my former dead body. Let's see how the ship looks. I hope it's not too bad. Ship looks in pretty good shape here. Those weapons just really pack a punch. Okay. Well, what did you guys think? I mean, I hope you saw that it was very difficult to turn in atmosphere here, and that inhibited me from getting a lot of shots off. But when I did get the shots off, woo, they packed a wallop for this this size of a ship. All right, so it seems that we did find a space mission. Let's go see what we can do there. See how this thing handles the space, see if it's any better. Note that I don't actually have any more missiles, so we're going to have to rely on these guns. All right, he's dead ahead. Let's go get him. There's quite a few clicks out. We'll bump up our speed. We did use up all of our missiles, so hopefully we'll be able to either use the asteroids to our advantage. I still have quite a few flares left. I think we can take it. The ship should handle much better in 0G. I am going to slow down considerably when we get closer, though. There we go. All right, close it in on him. Where's the target? I know he's up there. Oh. Of course, they get missiles on me before I can get them on them. Okay, one missile avoided. Let's take him out. And that was like my whole wad of guns there. They don't last very long. So hopefully we landed some shots on this Buccaneer. It is definitely out turning us in space, but it should. It's a buck. I don't love it when they take over the radio and I can't see their ship status. And now he's just kind of going back and forth. And he's toast. Next. Oh. Gotta avoid those missiles. Still there. A very hot engine. There we go. Now it's gone. Is that another Gladius? You can tell it is. You can definitely tell, like, when it eclipses or someone's inbound with a ballistics, because they are very loud. Bye bye. See ya, Mr. Gladius. What are you? Oh, an Aegis Eclipse. Let's see how you like these size 5s. Ooh. I gotta quit using my boost as much as I am. Woo! He went up pretty good. Alright. Last one. It's another Gladius. I like the ship much more in space. I'm just chasing him at this point. He's being a little erratic. Ooh. I must have hit a shield hole or something because he went up real quick. And there we go, folks. All done with the space combat mission. That was an MRT. And I think at this point, you know, we would normally go to the loadout, but I think we should move on to the next ship in the double feature, the Esperia Glaive. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have looked at the Scythe, let's take a look at the other ship in this double feature, the Esperia recreation of the elite medium fighter, the Vanduul Glaive. The Glaive. It's a more symmetrical version of the Scythe, and it sports two large blades around its fuselage as opposed to the single wing of the Scythe. It is said to be flown by Vanduul that have earned it, or who hold elite status in the clan's hierarchy. It very well could be that Vanduul leader or elite status symbol. The Glaive was re-engineered like the Scythe and the Blade in 2019 as part of the Kingship rework. In lore, the UEE Navy had asked Original Systems to update their combat sim Arena Commander with a Vanduul swarm simulation so the Navy could train against these elite ships. Esperia, working with Original Systems, then developed the reproduction of the Glaive ship, which, of course, Aggressor Squadron 323 then manned to provide training to the UEE military in various skirmishes. If you are a connoisseur of alien ships, or you just like the design of the Vanduul ships, you are in luck. The Glaive can still be purchased, but only if you complete certain Arena Commander milestones. The key to unlock these ships is to have the 2946 Aggressor Badge by completing Vanduul Swarm in multiplayer Arena Commander. Since then, acquiring the badge has been broken due to a bug. But if you do complete the Vanduul Swarm in Arena Commander today and take a picture or video of your win and send in a support ticket to CIG, they will award you with the badge and the ability to purchase the Glaive for the hefty price tag of $350. You could purchase the ship during quantity limited times like the IAE or Alien Week. Weapons-wise, the Glaive is on par with the Scythe, each sporting the same DPS. The difference with the Glaive is that instead of a war neutron cannon, it has two size 5 Wraith plasma cannons, which, while not implementing yet, will eventually do damage over time to the enemy. It also employs the same two bespoke twin size 1 weak laser repeaters as the Scythe. It employs the same shields as the Scythe, the same power plant coolers, and even the same quantum drive. The Glaive, however, has a leg up on the Scythe and the Blade because it carries 8 size 2 bullet missiles versus the size 1 missiles for the Scythe and the Blade. And apparently, each wing would be considered a ramming blade to cut other ships in half. The Glaive is also ever so slightly more maneuverable than the Scythe and carries a large amount of hydrogen fuel. It also has significantly more armor than the Scythe, but also has a slower SCM and top speed. In the thruster department, the Glaive is a little bit slower than the Scythe in both acceleration, lateral movement, and retro thrusters, but that is to be expected with the heavier mass of having more armor. All right. That was a pretty cool lore thing, I think. I'm excited to fly the Glaive. I don't fly it nearly enough, and I think this may require a special outfit. So let me get changed, and I'll be right back, and we'll go fly the Glaive. All right, well, this definitely puts me in the mood to fly the Glaive. Let's get at it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Esperia Glaive. Kind of mixed in with the light here at Port Olisar. It'll look better once we get it up into space and get some sunshine on it. But you can see it's got these really two big cannons. These are the Wrath plasma cannons, and they're both fixed size 5s. And it's got those two fixed size 1s down at the under the canopy. And the ship always just kind of makes me stop and think and wonder because it is incredibly cool. The detail is really, really good, and it's like one half of the Scythe mixed with the other half of the Scythe that we saw earlier. This is an Esperia recreation of the ship, and man, it looks cool. Let's get it up into space, get it off of Port Olisar here, and take it flying. We are going to enter the canopy just like we have with the Blade and with the Scythe, the cockpit, I mean, from below the canopy. And as we come in, we're going to be looking low, and we need to hit F to look up a little bit. There's always something going on in Port Olisar. So, we are fired up now. Let's lift off. And we'll just go ahead and take off. A little speed under us. Let's check out what this ship looks like from the outside. Well, here's a cool view. I don't even have the lights on. This ship just emanates those red lights right there. The landing gear is actually still up. I wanted to articulate the landing gear while we're in the lights, so let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. So this is a medium fighter, but it's like a mix between a heavy medium fighter, kind of like the Vanduul Hornets. I think it looks fantastic. The red coming off the blades is very Reaver-like from Firefly / Serenity. Maybe the Vanduul are based off the Reavers, I'm not sure, but those are some big size 5 guns pointing at you. When I hit L to turn on the lights, you can see even more red lights actually light up. And I've seen this ship light up the ground in this, it just bathes it in this really neat red light. So there we go, folks. The kind of an outside look to the Esperia Glaive. And let's check out how it flies around out in space. So first off, let's go max throttle here. We'll center our gyro. Looks like we're doing about 1224 for our maximum speed. We'll kick it down to SCM speed and we'll take a look at those retro thrusters. They're now on both sides and almost the exact same as what the Scythe look like. Very cool looking. And it's taking a sec to get the speed back down. There we go. So I'll center out the gimbal, and it looks like 181 is its SCM speed. Let's take a look at its firepower with the left mouse click. That fires the weak cannons right under the cockpit, and hitting the right mouse button should fire those two 6-shot Wrath plasma cannons. Boom. Boom. Maxing up on weapons gives us 7 shots instead of 6. So not sure if that's worth it. The recharge might be a little bit faster though. Maxing out weapons does give us 35 of the weak shots. To let you know. Let's take a quick look around the cockpit. It's going to be the same as the side though. 4 multifunction displays on the left. Engine on, engine off, power on, power off. Nothing on the right. Exits with these these guys right here. Pretty much the same cockpit as the Scythe there. So nothing different. But now it has 2 actual wings on it, and I want to see how it flies in atmosphere. So let's go take it for a spin. What do you say? All right, guys, we're up here at the sandy area in Daymar. Let's see what it looks like flying around and what it feels like flying around in the atmosphere. So this is just SCM speed at Daymar. And I can tell you already that this ship feels much smoother than the Scythe. Maybe it's because it has 2 wings. Maybe it's because the flight model on this thing is better. I'm not sure. But SCM speed's about 179 here. I'm going to turn that off and kind of crank it up a little bit. It feels faster already. We'll have to wait till we get to the loadout section to actually see if it's significant. The thrusters are significantly better. They should be relatively the same. Low flying here is just a heck of a lot different than doing it on Sullen or Yella. It feels a little more dangerous, to be honest with you. It feels good. I'm really enjoying it. Feels like we're just skirting the ground here, and feels nice. It feels I don't know how to describe it. Much more responsive. Like when I move the stick here, when I move my mouse, actually, because I do all these videos of mouse and keyboard, it feels like it really wants to go in the direction I'm telling it to. And laying on the boost, you can see it's really quick to respond to the boost. And it feels really good. Here's a left turn that's boosted around. Pretty darn low. I probably shouldn't be flying this low for the video, but what the heck. So I think if you watch this, you could probably already see the difference. The handling's just smoother and better. It feels like the rolls are better, the yaw is better, and the pitch is also better, even though I know the stats are the same or worse. It just feels like it handles better. All right, guys. And with that, we're going to head up into space and get some more combat going. Let's go ahead and do that now, and we'll cut to that. All right, guys. So here we are coming into the asteroids at Jawa, and this ship, you know, has the same size weapons as the Scythe, but instead of having the Scythe 5 laser cannon, that has the plasma cannons, which don't really do anything right now. They're supposed to be damage over time at some point, but that mechanic really isn't in the game. So I'm still in a fighter with 2 size 5 guns and 2 size 1 guns that are fixed. The difference is here, I do have bullet size 2 missiles versus the size 1s that the Scythe and the Blade have. So actually, I'm going to keep the missiles up. And we're going to, you know, this is PTU, so I had to reset my account. So I got to do all the training missions again. So with that being said, it's a space mission. Let's give it a shot. Missiles away. And I got him pretty quick. Let's see how fast we can get the Eclipse. Woohoo! This thing does use its WAB pretty quick, but it is powerful. Let's see if we can slow down a bit. So like I said, I don't love it when they talk because I can't see their ship status. So that was way too fast. But it makes sense. It's a tracker training mission, right? It should have been fast. Let's see if I can dig up another mission, and we'll take that one out flying. All right, everybody. So here we are coming after this next target. Probably the last one I'm going to do for a solo dogfight. I don't think I'm really testing the Blade's power because it's made for much tougher missions than this, but like I said before, because I reset the account, you kind of got to start over from scratch. But here we go. We're coming in on them. I'm not going to use any missiles this time because I actually want to shoot the guns. Between the Scythe and the Glaive, the Glaive is the much better flyer all around. The Scythe is the worst, and I don't know if that's because of the model or by design. And the Blade is definitely the best. In 317.2, the Blade is really, really good. So I would probably try to take a look at that if you can. Oh, we got targets out here. First up, an M50. I can't wait for that. Maybe I should shoot the missile at this guy. Hey, got rid of him quick. Next guy, another M50. Really? I just not a big fan of going after M50s. They're very fast, but they're very of course he shot a missile at me. They're very jousty. And there he goes. Is there more? There's no way this mission was just 2 M50s. Alright, well, that is disappointing. We will have to get some tougher missions for the chase camera dogfight. So, definitely stick around for that one. And without further ado, let's head on out to the loadout section. We'll see you there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are at the very first loadout section. This one is on the Vanduul Esperia Scythe. Go over the basic ship stats here. It's a medium fighter, size 3, crew size of 1. Let's look at the tip points here. 12,201 hit points for the hull. That's what it can take right there. It is a little bit smaller than the Glaive. It's one side is kind of half the Glaive. It shows Urkel's is showing its SCM speed at 195, max speed 1231. You can see the Pickshot roll are pretty low at 35s. for this fighter, and I did not have a great experience flying it around in atmosphere. It has a low hydrogen capacity and a low size 1 fighter, small fighter quantum fuel capacity, 583 liters, which is what a lot of the ships have. Looking at its firepower, which, by the way, is all bespoke. The 2 weeks, the War, and the Wrath, you can't change them out. So this is what you get. Your sustained DPS is 1213. Your burst DPS 4172. Missiles, the 8. There we go. The Arrow 1, the fast missiles, because they're small size ones, are called Arrow 1, and there's 8 of those with 2 launchers. Those do 18,662 damage. I don't know how much damage the ramming blade does. We did figure out how to use it finally. You have to, basically, when you switch in and out of missile operator mode, it actuates that ramming switchblade. But you got to be quick when you do that. I would imagine the CIG would change that as the game evolves with these ships. If we look at the stock power plant, because you can change all the systems here, we are running a Referral Cascade, which gives us just enough power, I think. I really like to see half or lower when it comes to power. So I would probably upgrade that. It's a military grade B. I mean, you look at all these are military components that Esperia put on here. 3366 may not be enough. Let's put a JS300 on it, and we can see we're a little bit closer to half. But I don't think you would have to upgrade this power plant because the weapons are stock. So I would just leave it alone. As far as the shields go, I'll stop military grade C's, 1500 apiece, giving you 3,000 hit points in a bubble. If you're going to use this as a fighter, I would definitely upgrade to the FR66s. All the way around, giving us 3450 hit points, and they do recharge a little bit faster. Coolers right now, they're embracers. Military grade C, I wouldn't even bother with them. There's no point in upgrading coolers anytime soon from what I see. The quantum drive. So this is a downside for me for the Scythe. It is a very fast quantum drive, one of the fastest in the game, and it does come stock with the beacon. However, if you want to go across even Stanton, you have to stop at every rest stop on the way to get gas. So I would just say the one thing I would change out on this ship is I would go with a civilian Atlas, or even better, a Voyage, and be able to pretty much go anywhere you want in the verse without having to stop for gas. There are no paints on this ship, so there's nothing to show there. And as far as the thrusters go, we can see that pretty good as far as the main thrusters go. For acceleration, the retro thrusters are lacking quite a bit. It is hard to slow down, and the maneuvering thrusters at 1.39 Gs. The stealth capacity of this, it's not super EM and IR. Like, you have a little bit of stealth, I would guess, but it's not much. And these laser / plasma cannons are they do stick out quite a bit. They're going to provide some energy coming out of there. So, and you can't change them. So you're kind of stuck with what you get. Let's take a look now. Let's switch over to the Esperia Glaive. And as we can see, the Glaive is, once again, it's a medium fighter, size 3. You can see it has more hit points, 17,302 compared to the Scythe. So, but that makes sense. It's more armor, more armored ship. We can see the speed is SCM speed 181 here on Urkel, Afterburner 1225, so comparable speeds. And it's actually a little more maneuverable than the Scythe, but just by a degree. It's not much. The hydrogen and the quantum fuel capacity are also low. The big difference between the Glaive and the Scythe here is the bespoke weaponry. They also have 2 weak size 1 fixed laser. I don't really think they're cannons because they have a very high fire rate, but I would call them repeaters. And then they have 2 of the Wrath plasma cannons, 1 on each side, because they have those full wings that come down. And those are fixed size 5, so it does do quite a bit of damage. So 1213 sustained DPS, 4172 burst DPS. One of the major advantages here of the Glaive is that it uses size 2 missiles. So it has 8 size 2 missiles and bespoke launchers, and those are bullet 2s. Those are the stock Vanduul infrareds. And I actually really like them. They're easy to spoof, though. Coming down to components, again, lots of military components here. We have we'll go start with the power plant, the referral Cascade, same thing as the Scythe. I would leave it alone. We don't need to upgrade it, but I would like to see this the power closer to half, but I don't think it's worth buying a grade A power plant. The shields, however, if you're going to use this as a fighter, I would say upgrade them when you can. Going from the all stops to the FR66s for the smaller fighter, giving us a little bit more of a shield and a faster recharge. The coolers I wouldn't even mess with. Again, coolers, not a big part of the game right now. The quantum drive, again, this comes with a beacon, very fast drive. I would go ahead and upgrade this to an Atlas or a Voyage. And then lastly, coming down, well, let's look at stealth first. About the same as the Scythe, 10,000 EM, almost 11. IR is almost 10,000. So it's not really stealthy, but it's not stealthy, if that makes sense. It's not horrible, but if you put all stealth components, maybe you'd be able to hide a little bit. But coming down to the thrusters here, we can see that the mains are 4.75, the laterals 1.31, and the retros 1.78. So let's keep that in mind. 475, 131, 178. Let's switch on over to the Scythe. And you can see the Scythe actually has more powerful main thrusters, better maneuvering thrusters, and better retro thrusters. And I believe that ties into that it's a lower weight. You see well, it's not that much lower, but maybe that's its advantage over the Glaive. The Glaive is slower. The mass at 72,000 for the Scythe. And when we go to the Glaive, it's the mass is 76,000. Not a huge difference. But I definitely think the Scythe and the Glaive need a lot of love in the thruster department. If we swap on over to the newly revamped Blade, now this is 3.17.1 stats. So we're going to switch over to PTU in just a second. But you can see the Blade here at 3.75, much better retro thruster at 4. I don't know why. It's really the same kind of tech. But this changed a lot when we went over to PTU. So let's come over here now. The only thing that really changed was the Blade. The Glaive and the Scythe are the same. But if we look at the mains now, 4.74 for the Blade in the PTU. Maneuvering is now 2.5, and retro is about the same as it was. That's a huge boost for lateral movement for the Blade, which I went over in my last video, but compared to the Glaive, 1.31, 4.75, so, it can get up there in speed, but it lacks maneuvering. And if we go to the Scythe, this is PTU, the Scythe is just barely more maneuverable laterally. I do think there's kind of a physics issue with the Scythe. It just doesn't do well flying around in the atmosphere. So that is it for the loadout section, guys. Let's move on over to the next section. Thanks for watching so far. All right, now that we've looked... Oh, wait a minute. Let me hop out of this mask real quick. All right, that is way better. So what did you guys think about the Scythe and the Glaive? I think they're very interesting ships. I love the aesthetic. I think they are absolutely beautiful. I really don't know if we even are going to have the opportunity to buy a Scythe or if it's just going to be a loaner for having the Imperator subscriber account. I do think we're going to see a lot of them in Squadron 42 and possibly in the PU one day when Star Citizen gets released. As far as the Glaive goes, what a neat fighter. I think it's actually really beautiful with all the different colors, the reds, and it reminds me of the Reavers from a certain TV show. Not even sure I could, well, anyway. If you know what I'm talking about, that's what it reminds me of. And Firefly. I'm just going to say it, Firefly. I love this show. They're cool ships. I think the Glaive is way overpriced at $350, but I guess that's sort of the alien tax. But comparatively to something like a Hornet or a Gladius that are in the hundreds of dollars, this thing is $350. It seems a little steep for me, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe those plasma cannons will be worth it one day once we get damage over time implemented. But I really want to know what you think about the Esperia / Vanduul Scythe and Glaive. If you haven't watched my video on the Esperia blade, I'll put that link somewhere in here. And you can check that out because it is the very lightest fighter of the Vanduul / Esperia recreation line. And that's it, folks. That wraps up the alien ships. I do have a couple more I'm going to make. I'm going to remake the Hammerhead video. We're going to redo the Carrick video. We're going to do an 890 jump video because the last one we made just didn't turn out very well. And yeah, so I'm super excited about that. And then we're going to get into vehicles and some other types of videos, and then it's all going to get recycled. So we'll be making the Hornet video starting over again a couple years later. So I hope you're enjoying these new formats. And I have certainly had a blast filming this stuff and getting together with org mates and doing things like that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see every time our videos come out, hit that notification bell. If you really enjoy our content and want to support Fist and Jawa so we can keep making content and giving away ships to our communities on our live streams, which are every Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, then please consider subscribing. We have 3 different ways to do a paid subscription. That is a YouTube channel member, a Twitch subscriber, or from Patreon. You can get all of those links in the description below, or you can find them at our website, fistandjawa.org. That's Fist and Jawa, not what you were thinking I said. And with that, thank you for watching. I've had a great time. I am Fist-25. And remember, if the fist don't get you, the lightning bolt will. Good night, Stan. He looks constipated. Like, ah. Anyway, thanks for watching.